You all know about My Hero Academia, right? But do you know about the original one-shot chapter that served as a proof of concept for the massive series that it is today? Well, let's talk about it. So back in 2008, a one-shot called My Hero came out in the winter issue of Akamaru Jump, and it was written and illustrated by Kohei Horikoshi, who is the author of the My Hero Academia manga. So My Hero one-shot tells a story about Midoriya Jack, who lives in this world filled with aberrants and heroes. Aberrants being these huge giant monsters that terrorize the world, and heroes being, well, people who fight those monsters. And now Midoriya Jack aspires to be one of these heroes, but he's extremely anemic and weak and can't pass the physical test for being a hero. Now that sounds extremely similar to My Hero Academia. That's, well, because it is. But what's really interesting is to see just the differences between the two series, or the series and a one-shot, and also the similarities that Horikoshi decided to keep in his mainline series. So the chapter opens up with narration and with one of those aberrants that I already mentioned attacking an innocent person, and then vegetable Power Rangers come and save a civilian. Of course they do. So yeah, this team of heroes goes to, well, pretty much mercilessly kill this aberrant, but they get interrupted by Midoriya Jack, who tries to sell them a, well, hero item. That's because Midoriya Jack, who is of course the main protagonist of this one-shot, is a seller man that works with a company that produces hero items, and he's a salesman trying to, well, sell as many of these items as he can. And now the problem is that these items, or this company that Midoriya works for, is not, well, the biggest AAA company out there, so he has some trouble selling these items. But yeah, then we switch sceneries to Akahashi Hero Support, which is the company that Midoriya works for, and we meet the second important character, which is Director Akahashi, who is the, well, the main director, CEO, whatever, of the company that Midoriya works for. But now the problem is this company is like extremely in debt and near bankruptcy, with pretty much Midoriya being the only one who is selling the support items, and even that number being really low. Now here we learn that back in the day Akahashi Hero Support was extremely huge because they were pretty much sponsoring or actually making items for the then one hugely popular hero named Positive, but ever since the previous director handed over the rights of the company to his daughter, who is the current director, the company has kind of been, well, yeah, this pretty much skydiving into bankruptcy. But we also learned that the real reason why Midoriya works in this kind of hero support business is that he can get his hands on the hero support items, since the only people that can wield the support items are people who have a hero license or people that are, well, selling the items. We also see that Midoriya actually has a kind of vigilante hero outfit that he modeled after his favorite hero Positive, who back in the day actually saved Midoriya. But by save, all what I really mean is Midoriya got lost and he helped him get back on the way. But to Midoriya that was extremely impressive, since Positive was an extremely busy and popular hero, and even then he had the time to help a total stranger child. So with that we have Midoriya's kind of motivation. And then out of nowhere a huge aberrant appears, and of course Midoriya is pretty much screwed until another hero shows up and saves him, and that hero being Snipe. Now Snipe is also a popular hero who uses a gun to, well, pretty much snipe the aberrants. It's kind of in the name. Now back in the Akahashi support building, well, Director Akahashi brings out a new item, which is called the Beigoma Knuckles, which are actually the knuckles the hero Positive used to use back in the day. And of course he tells Midoriya to go on and sell them. Now, of course, as you can expect, Midoriya goes around, puts on his costume, sees Positive flirting around with some girls, and then another aberrant appears and both of them go to the scene. Now, just as Snipe was about to finish the villain, Midoriya kind of butts in and basically lets the villain escape, or aberrant, I'm sorry. So he chases down to it and kind of gets in a pickle. Now this is where also Director Akahashi learns that Midoriya was kind of using the items, or actually is being a vigilante, but he gets saved by Snipe. After that, Director Akahashi takes Midoriya to the park because he's, well, pretty beaten up, to say the least. And then they have kind of a heart of heart where Midoriya explains why he wants to become a hero and why he's working in the hero business, and Director Kakashi telling him that, well, to her, he is her hero because he's basically the only one that's at least somewhat keeping the company afloat. Really nice character moment, not gonna lie. But then we see that Snipe actually has some kind of a weakness, and that is that he's actually we learned it back in his first fight, I just forgot to mention it, sorry, that he actually has a fear of aberrants. That's why he fights kind of from the distance with a gun. And he is also currently in a pickle with one of these aberrants, or actually the previous aberrant that he failed to subjugate. And now it's up to Midoriya to go and help him, just like in the good old Shonen Jump fashion. But meanwhile, Akahashi actually grabs one of the fan letters, which turns out to be a fan letter that Midoriya wrote to Positive all those years ago after helping him, well, find his way, I guess. Now Midoriya goes up to a huge building, jumps on to where Snipe is, and gives him one of those knuckles that Positive used to use. And we actually learned that Midoriya figured out that Snipe is actually Positive. He managed to figure it out because Positive used to have like a bad neck, and Snipe also kind of has that same tick where he grabs his neck. So Midoriya gives Snipe or Positive those knuckles, and Snipe/Positive takes care of Aberrant in an instant. After that we get a spectacular banner for which I don't know why it gives me goosebumps, but we pretty much see from the perspective of Snipe, who tells Midoriya, all I see is a spectacular hero. Woo! That always gets me. And in the end we have a scene between Snipe or Positive and Midoriya, where Snipe explains that back in the day when he was Positive, he got a pretty huge injury fighting an aberrant, which left him well scarred and kind of being afraid of aberrants and monsters. So he decided to adapt his kind of heroic style to using a gun, so he can fight them more from a distance. I'm so sorry I've been holding that in. And just to be sure that the messages came across, Positive tells Midoriya that, to me, you're my hero. And yeah, then we see that the Akahashi support organization, company, whatever, is getting a lot of new customers, since a lot of people saw that Snipe is Positive, and now they want the same kind of hero items that Positive/Snipe uses. And this is where one shot ends with Midoriya making one more sale for the company. Now, as you probably noticed, there are a lot of differences between My Hero and My Hero Academia, but there are also a lot of similarities, especially when you take a look at that first chapter of My Hero Academia. And of course, the biggest differences is that there are no mention of quirks in this one-shot. It's just that there are these aberrants, which are, I guess, these kind of monstrous creatures, and also the heroes don't have any quirks, but they mostly use hero items and, well, I guess their physical prowesses. Now that isn't all just explicitly stated, it's just something that you learn through context of reading the one-shot. But now let's take a look at differences between the main characters, Midoriya Izuku and Midoriya Jack. They are kind of similar in appearances, with their kind of curly hair and being kind of a timid, weak in body, but Midoriya Jack is way weaker than Izuku ever was, since he like literally just passes out on a whim. But they both have similar inspirations, that they try to be heroes. Now, Midoriya Jack is a salaryman, so a grown-up, and he kind of takes it into his own hands, makes his own costume, and becomes basically a vigilante. While for Izuku it's a bit more difficult, since there are quirks and literal superpowers in his world, and he's also only in, well, starting high school at the beginning of the series. But yeah, they both also have this like one hero that they inspired to be like, All Might for Izuku and Positive for Jack. Since we're on topic on the heroes, there are no Tomato Power Rangers in My Hero Academia, at least as far as I know, but there is a hero, Snipe, whose design is pretty much shot for shot the same as in the My Hero one-shot as he is in My Hero Academia manga. Now, as for his character and abilities, it's a bit different. Again, in the My Hero one-shot, he's just a dude who's good at shooting. On My Hero Academia, he has a quirk that lets him snipe from really far away. And the final, kind of the biggest similarities between these two series is that the hero Positive, the hero who inspires the main character, Positive and All Might used to get in a big fight back in the day and get seriously injured, which kind of impacted their hero career in the futures. And it's also cool to see how these main themes of heroics and how a timid boy actually helps a great hero beat the villain kind of still stay the same even like what, 6 years later, I believe, when My Hero Academia actually started. And yeah, that's pretty much all for the differences and similarities, because, well, there are a lot of differences that are just so obvious, like there's no director Akahashi. But yeah, if you never read this one-shot, I do encourage you to go and check it out. It's called My Hero, or maybe you can also find it by Boku no Hero Academia Chapter 0. There are a lot of ways to find it on the interwebs. But it's also included, if you want a more legal way, it's also included in the 5th volume, or the final volume of Omagadoki Zoo, which was one of Horikoshi's previous serializations. But yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this chapter. Like, even Horikoshi himself used to say that this was his kind of masterpiece and he would like to redraw it. And he got actually a chance and now made one of the biggest anime/manga series in the world in My Hero Academia, and it's actually so cool. I really do want you all to check it out, because it does actually show that the roots of My Hero Academia were there, like, from the start, like themes of heroics and this hero society, and like what really makes a hero. Like, kind of, I do like that in this one shot, director Akahashi tells Midoriya, "Ayo, to me, you are my hero. You don't need a flashy cape to be considered a hero to everybody." And those are kind of the themes that really do, like, kind of hit hard, and I do like. And those are some kind of themes that I do like in My Hero Academia, although they're very different in that manga as well. But yeah, this was basically me going around and checking out I guess the original one-shot that actually got Horikoshi to make this juggernaut called My Hero Academia. And yeah, if you want me to kind of take a look at more of these one-shots or original chapter zeros or these kind of pilot chapters, go and hit the like button, share this video around, and yeah, at the end I as always have to shout out my Patreon. Special thanks to Wrenchman. And yeah, in the end, all I can say is thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope I see you in another one. Stay strong, guys. Plus, ultra!